When was the last time you sat in silence long enough to notice your patterns? Not with music playing in the background. Not with a podcast filling the drive. Not with YouTube running just for noise. Not scrolling through social media. Not checking notifications every few minutes, just you and your thoughts, uninterrupted long enough for your mind to settle. Most people can't remember. Silence rarely gets the chance to fully form because the moment it appears, something replaces it. We've been conditioned into constant stimulation. From childhood, there was always something on. A television in the background, music playing in the house, a phone nearby, notifications breaking up the quiet. Over time, noise stopped feeling optional and started feeling normal. So when silence shows up, it doesn't immediately feel peaceful. It feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar feels uncomfortable. Not because people are intentionally running from themselves, but because their nervous system has adapted to speed. Your mind starts moving faster than it did when you were distracted. It's like driving 70 miles per hour and suddenly slamming on the brakes, bringing the car to a complete stop in a few seconds. Even though the car stops, your body still feels the momentum. Your muscles remain tense. There's a lingering sense of motion because everything was just moving at high speed. Your nervous system doesn't instantly recalibrate simply because the vehicle did. The same thing happens with constant noise. When your day is filled with stimulation, music playing, notifications buzzing, videos running in the background, scrolling without intention, your brain adapts to that pace. It begins expecting input. That level of activity becomes your baseline. So when you remove it and sit in a quiet room with no phone in your hand and no screen in front of you, it doesn't feel neutral. It feels abrupt, as if something is missing. Your mind keeps searching for the next signal because that's what it has been trained to anticipate. And if you manage to sit in that silence anyway, without reaching for something to interrupt it, that's when you begin to notice what's actually happening beneath the surface. The first thing you feel isn't clarity, it's restlessness. Thoughts that were buried under constant stimulation begin rising. Conversations replay. Tasks you've been postponing resurface. Ideas you haven't given space to develop start forming more completely. Silence doesn't create these thoughts. It reveals them. Most people never stay there long enough to see what fully forms. The moment discomfort increases, the hand reaches for the phone almost automatically. An app opens without conscious decision. A video starts playing. You look up and realize your phone is in your hand, and you don't remember deciding to pick it up. That isn't dramatic weakness. It's momentum. Your brain trying to return to the speed it has grown comfortable with. But most people never allow that internal speed to actually decrease. They interrupt the slowdown before it happens. They keep the stimulation high. Day after day becomes an uninterrupted sequence of response. Think about a normal day. Your alarm goes off, and before you even sit up, your phone is in your hand. You clear the alarm and scroll for a few minutes. You check one notification, then another. While getting ready, music plays in the background. On the drive, a podcast fills the space. At work or school, emails arrive, messages pop up, links get sent, and attention shifts constantly. During breaks, you scroll again. Standing in line, you scroll. Sitting down to eat, a screen is in front of you. Driving home, more audio fills the silence. At night, the television runs in the background even if no one is actively watching. Before bed, one last scroll, one more refresh, and then sleep. The next day follows the same rhythm. In all of that movement, you are responding. responding to alarms, responding to notifications, responding to messages, responding to whatever appeared next. But where in that day did you consciously decide what deserved your attention? Where did you step back and choose how your time would be used, instead of letting something else choose for you? Most days aren't chaotic, they're simply continuous chains of reaction. And when your life is built on reaction, your direction becomes accidental. That's the cost of never staying in silence long enough for your system to slow down. When the internal speed never settles, you don't examine your patterns clearly. Not because something is automatically wrong, but because nothing is observed long enough to be understood. Silence doesn't guarantee that something negative will surface. It guarantees that something real will. It might be an uncomfortable habit. It might be clarity about what matters. It might be an idea that has been buried under distraction. But if you never stay long enough to find out, you remain unexamined. If you want to test this, don't change your entire life. Start with 20 minutes, not 5, not 10. 10 minutes is still comfortable. 15 minutes is where the urge to escape begins to justify itself. 20 minutes places you just outside your comfort zone. Sit somewhere quiet for 20 minutes with no input. No phone in your hand. No music playing. No video in the background. No multitasking. Just sit. The first few minutes will feel ordinary. Around the 10-minute mark, your mind will begin looking for something to grab. At 15 minutes, the urge to reach for your phone will feel reasonable. That is the moment most people stop. Don't. Stay there. Because somewhere between discomfort and stillness, the internal speed begins to decrease. The agitation weakens. Your thoughts slow down enough to observe rather than react. And once you can observe your patterns without immediately interrupting them, you gain distance from them. Distance creates choice. Choice creates direction. And direction is power. Silence isn't empty. It's revealing. If you can sit in it long enough without interrupting yourself, you stop reacting to everything around you and start directing yourself. Silence recharges power.